Oy vey. Welcome, my friends, to another exciting episode of Mad at the Internet. This time co-starring Croc. I see people already freaking out in chat, like they smell something, like the scented candles that their grandmother had in their house. Like, is this the soundtrack from Croc from the original PlayStation? Well, yes, it is, actually. Thank you for noticing. I have devised a thumbnail for this stream that is uniquely horrifying. It is the face of Greta Thunberg. I always want to say Thornburg, like the Thornberries, but that's not the case. She has a equally hideous last name. I don't know where to start, because a lot of shit kind of got shotgunned at me at the last second, and I don't know with which I want to begin. Let's start with something less interesting. That's how you want to start off. Like, I want to shit talk a child because, you know, why not? But I don't want to get into that right away because I'll get banned from YouTube. I have to find something less interesting to talk about before I get banned from YouTube. Let's start with Google. Let's start with Google winning. If you work for Google, if you work for YouTube, you definitely don't want to ban me because I want to talk about how Google won a landmark case in the United Europes, or whatever it's called, the European Union. This is very pertinent to my realm because every fucking day I get some kind of bullshit complaint on Google saying, invoking this right to be forgotten that exists only within the European Union, that Google has to de-index stuff that talks about them if they want them to. Because apparently that's a right in Europe. If you want to be forgotten on the internet, Google has to at least try and do what they ask. But that right, that privilege, I guess, to invoke and have people respect your wish to be forgotten only extends to Europe. And Google got sued within the European Union to force to take down, like, if I have a threat on somebody in the UK, for instance, and they invoke the right to be forgotten, Google would be forced, if the lawsuit had won, to take that down even for people in free countries like the US or Russia. So thankfully the European Union, I guess they don't really have a choice. Because, I mean, how much can you push these tech companies? Like, how much can you fuck with them before Google's just like, you know, we don't care. You're trying to infringe on the ability for other people in other countries to do searches. So we're just not going to listen to what you have to say anymore. What really does that cost Google to do that? To just say, go fuck yourself. You're like, how many people actually live in the whole of the European Union? How many people live there? Like maybe like a billion, probably less, probably about 750 million. Population of EU. 500 million, barely more than the US. Yeah, fuck that. What are you gonna do, cocksuckers? I dare you to fucking ban Google and replace it with whatever. Yeah, who gives a shit? We got India. India's got more people than you. India's got twice as many people as you. They don't give a shit. But yeah, they lost their lawsuit. The plaintiff did, and Google doesn't have to censor U.S. search results for people in the European Union. Isn't that great? That's another thing I don't have to carry about. The search engines just don't care about your privacy. No, nobody does. Nobody cares about your privacy. The only person who cares about your privacy is you. And if you're doing an insufficient job and caring about your own privacy, not a single fucking person in the entire world is going to pick up that slack for you. You just have to deal with it. Sorry if that is offensive or whatever. I traded out my mouse that double clicks for a mouse that barely clicks. So I've had to kind of pick my poison. Do I want to double click everything, or do I want to maybe click things? So my technology is falling apart as I use it, which is fantastic. Let's see. Okay, that's all I wanted to say as far as praising Google. Though my man Bibi Netanyahu, I guess before I talk about Israel and how much I love Israel, I should mention that I went to a currency exchange, which is called an Oman ballot, and I got my currency exchange. But because it's a currency exchange, that's where tourists have to go to exchange, their local currency, and the currency exchanges in the area usually exchange Russian rubles, Moldovan, whatever the fucks, euros, US dollars, of course, and one other particular currency of importance to the region, the Israeli shekel. Just, lots of Israeli tourists, I guess. Lots of people dealing in shekels. So I was there, and this couple nearby comes up to me and is like, "Oh, do you speak English?" I'm like, "Yeah, I speak English. That's all I speak. I'm a fucking American." And they pull out their phone and start asking me like for directions and stuff, and I help them out. And as I'm looking at the phone, I realize it's all in Hebrew. These are Israeli tourists asking me for directions, and I guess they just picked me out of the crowd and were like, I know you are a friend to Israel, and you will guide us as Moses did through hardship. You will guide us through the desert." Probably because of my Israeli shirt, just a giant Israeli flag in the form of a button down, and my Benjamin Netanyahu pin that I wear close to my heart. That probably gave it away. But I don't know. I thought that was cute. And though Bibi's having problems in Israel, apparently. His party lost in the Knesset, or whatever the fuck it is, whatever their parliament is. They're down one seat to another party. But the fun thing about Israel is that all the parties there are basically the same in terms of like what they care about. Like none of them care about Palestine. Like, you can't have like a sudden upsurge of Palestinian support in Israel. Like none of them give a fuck about Palestine. So Bibi is probably going to stay as the head of Israel for the time being because he's doing well. He's best friends with Trump. And American support's like the biggest deal in Israel. So even though his party is down a little bit, it's going to be just fine. My man Bibi is going to continue to be the king of the Jews. Sorry, not the king of the Jews. Trump is the king of the Jews now, isn't he? Didn't Bibi say that he was the king of the Jews? Bibi is only the spokesperson of the Jews. I keep calling him Bibi, and I keep remembering, or I forgot that the black guy that Chantal is with is called Bibi as well. Don't shoot the messenger. Exactly. Okay, we've talked about Israel and how much I love Israel. So it's safe for me to say that I fucking hate Greta Thunberg. I fucking hate her. I hate her fucking face. She looks stupid. She is a disgusting potato. I hate, and I've simmered this down for a while. I've kept it quiet. I've kept it in the back of my mind. It's been eating at me. I'm like, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it because you're gonna get in trouble. And everyone's sick of hearing about it. But I can't not hear it. I've been making memes of this lady, of this little girl, of this child, this underdeveloped creature, and I am so sick of her, and I'm so fucking tired of seeing her every day. It is every day I have to look at Greta fucking Thunberg's stupid fucking face, her melted fucking face. People think that she has fetal alcohol syndrome, which, I mean, to their credit, it does look like she has fetal alcohol syndrome. It does look like somebody drank very heavily and permanently disfigured this bitch for her entire life. But I will show you something in a second that kind of indicates that no, she's just ugly. This is just what a inbred Swede looks like. This is the equivalent of a white trash cousin fucker baby in the United States. And I'm just disgusted by her. She's physically nauseating to look at. Every time I see her, I get angry, just instinctively. Her face does something unique and special to my psychology that makes me want to just start breaking shit. Because she is She's not a fetus that's been imbued with alcohol. She's a fetus that's been imbued with smug. She is pure smug. She is a genetic melting pot of two ugly Swedish people. And, you know, it's like with the Powerpuff Girls. You know, the Professor Oak, he added chemical X and it made them magic. Well, these fucking assholes mixed in chemical smug, condensed smug, and made this bitch fucking autistic as shit. And it shows. It is a visible aspect of her character. Like how the Powerpuff Girls didn't have any fingers. She is obviously mentally ill and psychotic and somehow in a position of power. She has 2 million followers on Twitter. How does a 16-year-old girl with no pedigree in anything have 2 million people following them on Twitter? How do 2 million people know about this bitch? How do 2 million people on Twitter follow her? Why do 2 million people care about what she has to say? I don't know. That's a great question. And I can't, you would say, oh, she's Thunberg. That's why. Well, no, not even, because she's not Jewish. If you think that she's Jewish, you're just wrong. Jews don't look like they're melted. They don't look like a Barbie doll that's been melted. She ain't got the nose. She doesn't have any prominent facial features. It's like someone took a sander and sanded off all her fucking facial features, leaving behind this pasty white flat face like she has suffered a chemical burn or something. No, she's just ugly. And I hate hearing about her every day. I want to show you this. Because it's been purported as a thing that I as an adult, as a grown man, am supposed to care about. And I don't know why. It's a mystery to me. I'm going to put this down at the bottom so I can show you my Firefox again. Okay, doesn't want to do that. I want to take it down. There we go. Now I can do Firefox. And I'll describe what happens. It's a short clip, and I'll describe what happens if you're just listening. Trump's coming in. Greta Thunberg is right there.
Thank you very much.
And they're doing a double take. She's looking for Trump. She sees Trump. Trump is not looking at her. And she notices that he is not looking at her. Her face is reddening with a kind of rage, a visible upset that she is not getting attention. Even though she is in the room with the President of the United States, she is not getting attention from the President of the United States. And the disgust, the sheer utter contempt. Her brain is like a little hamster wheel, and that hamster is thinking scornful thoughts, contemptuous thoughts about our president. And it's very noticeable. What few facial features she actually retains from the brutal sanding off of her face are twisted malignantly with hatred and contempt. And after I saw this, I realized I hate her. I hate her fucking gross-ass fucking pigtail that is probably all eco-friendly with shitty shampoo, probably greased up like a fucking sausage. Like a Weisswurst, just dangling off her fucking scalp. And I'm gonna have to hear about her for years. I can tell she's never going away. She's gonna be like Anita Sarkeesian. She's gonna be a stink in a room that I have to hear about for fucking 4 more years before she finally, thankfully, kills herself. And in her teary-eyed memoirs, she'll explain that her mother forced her to do this. She had no interest of being a queen of environmental causes. She was forced into this by her mother, and thankfully, from Wendy. Now, I had to log into my account on the forum to bring this up because some libtard deleted this thread, said that it should be in articles and happenings, a news board post, and not a lolcow thread. Well, I disagree, because these bitches crazy, and I will explain. This is the family. As you can see, look, her and her sister are like identical twins. They look exactly alike, and they're both hideous. So unless Mama Thunberg is wasted off her ass 24/7 and made the same mistake twice, I think it's a genetic thing. I think that when you take this face and you blend them together, you just get this. This is the phenotype of the sweet. It's like the family, the weird, gross family from that Netflix horror movies, Summer Stag or something. You got all those weird, creepy Swedish people out in the woods fucking each other, and that's this family. And hopefully that dog. I mean, that dog. Look at the eyes. The dog is looking at the girls. There's clear eye contact. He doesn't know why he's in this picture, but he's a certain dominance. So I'm assuming that everyone in this picture has fucked each other just based off the optics. I don't have any evidence for that, but based off what I know about Swedish people and what I know about white people and what I know about dogs, I think that's what's happening. Okay. So, if you don't know, and I found this interesting, I did not know this. The reason why Greta got started in... Okay, hold up.
Fuck dogs. White girls fuck dogs. White girls fuck dogs. White girls fuck dogs. White girls fuck dogs. When they come home from the bar and they're all alone. White girls fuck dogs in their big red bone. They don't do it 'cause it's good for their health. It's just the way white girls express themselves, yeah. White girls fuck dogs, they fuck 'em. White girls fuck dogs, they really fuck 'em. White girls fuck dogs, white girls fuck dogs. White girls fuck dogs. White.
I'll never forget you, Rusty Cage, for the innumerable contributions you have made to my life and to the lives of all white women and all dogs. That is indeed the same singer as the original, but I'm quite fond of that one. That one's titled White Girls Love Dogs, which is very sweet. I should have saved that for a Valentine's Day special, but I couldn't help it. I felt the moment. The time was right. Okay. So So, Greta got started literally when she was 8 years old. She got depressed. So when she's out there and she's getting her purple face on, she's doing the Sam Hyde thing where her face is getting all purple and shit, screaming about how the old white men of the world have deprived her of her future because the world is going to be all under the ocean, under the sea, and it's their fault. They should feel bad for it. She started saying that when she was 8. She got so depressed at the prospect of how the world was fucked that she became depressed at the age of 8 as a child, as a little girl, somehow even less pubescent than her current form, which is definitely not pubescent. She's the latest bloomer to ever exist, and it really grosses me out because she looks like she's a kid. And I can't say this on YouTube, but I think she's of the legal age in Sweden, and with the way she looks, you could probably pimp her out to a bunch of people who work in the media, and they would snap that shit up. And she's an activist now. She's an activist now. And that's what her mother did. And I'll back that up based on what I know about her mother. She started at the age of 16, which I guess she is now. So this year, she started refusing to go to school. She just said, I'm not going to school because I want to fight for the climate. She was holding up a sign that said, Skull Strike for Climate, which means Skull Strike for Climate in Swedish. And she would stand outside the Swedish Parliament building until it got attention for whatever. And soon she had an entire ragtag group of mentally defective Swedish people who actually believed that that fucking Sweden, one of the cleanest countries in the entire world, would be the birthplace of this radical movement to, I guess, just use windmills for everything. And it became an international sensation immediately. So this is the other girl, Greta Thunberg, who looks exactly like her. And even, I don't know, I don't want to be too mean to Greta, but she's ugly. she's really physically unattractive, and she looks a lot like her sister. So let's look at Greta perform, and if you're listening, don't worry, it's singing, so you'll get to hear it. Look, she's got backup dancers, not dancers, but musicians, 2 different drummers. That's a lot of production value. I wonder who is bankrolling this ugly 14-year-old girl to be on the stage of whatever the fuck this is. Bingo Lotto? I have no idea what that is. Probably mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy Svante Thunberg and Malina Ernban are her parents, and they themselves are not as unattractive as their kids are. I don't know. Maybe it is fetal. Maybe they're just both fucking fetal alcohol syndrome babies, because they're both hideous. But as it turns out, Mama Malina is both a ecological activist and an opera singer. So you have Mama, who is both a climatologist activist and a singer who has 2 daughters, one of which is an ecological activist and the other is a singer. Wow, that's really coincidental. That's really surprising. Who would have thought that Mom's children would be her fucking reincarnation? It's almost as if she's living vicariously through them and is funneling her fucking money from being a performer, and her husband's money, who's an actor, author, producer, into making her children's fucking celebrities. It's almost like that, isn't it, guys? Because, and people ate it up. People eat that shit up. Now little Greta has, I bet you mommy's so proud. Mommy's so fucking proud that Greta has 2 million followers. In her fucking Twitter, man. It's so 50,000 people turned up in Hamburg, and she's tweeting about it like, oh, it's so. Big round of applause for everyone in Hamburg who turned up, who went on a sanctioned strike that teachers accommodated and nobody said you couldn't go to, for the climate. Not that Germany is one of the biggest polluters in the world or anything. Germany is so fucking power efficient. They've even gotten rid of nuclear. They're phasing out all their nuclear power by 2020 and are switching almost entirely to windmill shit. Because they have part of the lowlands near the Rhine, and they're just going to load that shit up with windmills, and I guess they're going to murder every fucking bird that ever wants to fly to Netherlands for whatever reason. If you're a bird flying from Germany to Netherlands, you're going to get chopped up into tiny fucking mints by these Mama Merkel turbines. But it'll be okay, because it'll be clean energy. And it's just, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Why don't, chat, look at her face. Look at her. I'm going to have to look at this woman, this little itty bitty girl who is way, way too old to look like this. I'm going to have to look at her for years, for 10 years, up to 10 years, maybe a couple of years, but I'm going to have to look at her for more than 1 year because it is ordained, because the handlers, the owners have decided that she is the chosen one. And I'm so angry. I'm so angry. I don't want to. I don't want to look at her, chat. I wish I didn't have to. Mad at the 16-year-old, yeah, pretty much. Not these people. Look at these smug fuckers. Sweden's up there, man. I really hate England, and I hate a lot of people in England, and I hate almost everything the English do. But Sweden's really giving them a run for their money. If I had, we'll do a poll real quick. If you would nuke England, if you had one nuke, and you could drop it on London, England, or Stockholm, Sweden, which would you do? Press 1 for England, press 2 for Sweden. I want to see some numbers in this. I want to see. It's specifically those cities. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of ones for England. Oh, I'm seeing some twos. Twos are making a comeback. This is getting hard. This is a close race. The Finnish guy wants to nuke England. That's surprising to me. It's an even split. I can't. Maybe England edges it out, but that's hard to call. I see a lot of people who want to nuke the fuck out of England. Yeah, that's really close. Because it's like England has more people. Let's be honest. If you wiped out England, it would do a lot more good than it would. I mean, if you nuked Sweden right now and wiped off everyone in Sweden, you wouldn't even get Greta, because she's currently Mr. Fucking Worldwide out here, visiting the UN, visiting American Congress. Why are Swedish people allowed in our Congress? Can we answer that? If you are a person of non-American heritage and passport ownership, and you step foot in DC, you should just get fucking taken out by snipers. Like, you're invading our capital, our federal district. You can't do that. You can't visit Congress as a fucking Swede. What the fuck are you doing? So no, it would be. I would nuke England still, because if you nuked Sweden, you wouldn't even get Greta, because she's in fucking UN and New York and shit. And it would be insufficient for the purposes that I would, because I can't nuke the White House. Trump lives there. Don't be insane. That's not a fair trade. I need Trump to live and to be president for another 4 years, so that when I and my children take Aliyah to the chosen land of Israel, it is the best place on earth. So Trump, too important. Greta, not important enough. Not a fair trade. Nuke Israel. That's not an option. There's the Iron Dome to worry about. Sweden ain't got no fucking Iron Dome. Sweden is a major breeding ground for Swedes. Nowhere is a major breeding ground for Swedes. Sweden, there will not be Swedish people by 2100. Swedish people will be out in the fucking woods worshiping deer god or whatever. They'll be doing their summer stag, and all of the Swedish coast will just be some new Arab republic. You can't stop all the nukes. I said you only got one. You only got one nuke. All right, I'm sick of looking at these fucking people. Oh, before I do that, I do have to drag this out further. This is Mama Thunberg performing, and it's some satanic ass shit. Come on now.
Nu ska jag ner och handla lite mat. Det är inget konstigt alls. Nej. Och det är inte en massa assistenter och sådant som folk kanske tror. Nej, bara jag och mina dansare. Jag handlar precis som vanligt folk gör. Tacos och pizza. Och jag har ingen rysk kaviar här, inte som folk kanske tror. Nej. Inget konstigt alls.
Right. I think I made if you ever wondered, how does somebody like Greta Thunberg exist? Well, there you fucking go. To explain it, to describe it for people who are only listening to that fucking hideous opera. I don't know if it's a skit or an opera or whatever the fuck, but it's Greta mom, old looking, in like a white wig or something, and like weird raven looking black, like a sexy dress that's inappropriate for someone of her age, being followed around by women in black suits and ties, holding up like a masquerade mask over half their face, and I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But that's the thing. Apparently she's buying a frozen pizza, so Pizzagate confirmed. And then the other thing that's interesting is they did a book, and I don't know what's in this book. She did a memoir called Scenes from the Heart, written by Melina Ernman, which is her mother. And from what I understand, according to Twitter user Little12812, the book is frightening. Now, I don't happen to speak Swedish, and I don't happen to read books, as has been explained in previous episodes of this podcast thing that I do. So if anybody happens to be Swedish and happens to read books, please pirate illegally, in the most illegal way possible. Please pirate Scenes from the Heart by Melina Ernman and read it, and give me excerpts from this, because I want to know how hard everyone in that family was fucked by psychos in the media. That's my question, and I desire answers for it. That's the dog. I've already looked at that. Okay, I'm done with the Thunberg. Get rid of this fucking bitch. Get a sip of water. Now for some good news from Brianna Wu for U.S. Congress. No, we did it. We did it, no. Happy days. Finally, she says, Donald Trump will be held accountable for his blatant lawlessness. Impeachment proceedings will begin at last. People like you made it clear to your elected representatives that Trump is not above the law. It was your cause, your protest, your emails, the groundswell of support for impeachment from activists and citizens all over the country have brought us to this pivotal and defining moment. Even the Democrats were scared of impeachment, finally realized they have no choice. My opponent, Stephen Lynch, was late to the party as usual. A special thanks to the people in my district, Massachusetts 8th, who swarmed Lynch's town hall and wouldn't let him off the hook as he bellowed that we can't uphold the rule of law because of politics. And now that the timid House leadership can no longer ignore the extremity of Trump's crimes, Lynch is on television supporting impeachment. He does what House leadership tells him to do. He wants credit for being a great follower, not a leader. You know I've been consistent that the rule of law is never optional. I'll be a leader in Congress who will do the right thing, no matter the political consequences. This is the type of leadership that American people want and deserve. The end of fundraising quarter is coming up next week, but we need to finish strong. Please donate to my campaign today to send me to Congress. Will be a leader, not a follower. That is Brianna Wu, celebrating that Nancy Pelosi has formally declared the initiations of impeachment proceedings against President Donald J. Trump. From what I understand, Donald Trump had a phone call with very ironically, a Ukrainian president, and attempted to coerce him into doing political actions against Joe Biden in 2016, a major political opponent, I think it was 2017, actually. I don't fucking know. I don't care. Because it's not going to amount to anything. Like, who gives a fuck? Nobody is going to impeach the sitting president of the United States of America because of a fucking phone call he had with the Ukrainian president. You know why? Because people in the U.S. don't know where fucking Ukraine is. They don't know where it is. They don't care. He might as well have called up the fucking president of Tuvalu and asked for something. Nobody in the U.S. gives a shit. The only person in the U.S. who gives a shit about Ukraine is me. And that's because I'm here. That's why. That's the only person. So, no, Trump is going to be sitting pretty. Trump is going to fucking win in 2020. I'm not even saying that because I give a shit if he wins or not. He just is. Nobody's going to be voting for a man who sniffs children, who literally, if you go to Google and you type in Joe Biden smelling children, you will find 100,000 separate images, not just different variations of the same images. He does this perpetually. He smells children. And Just nobody gives a shit. I don't even know the name of the president that he's in trouble for talking to. I live here. I know Poroshenko, and I don't know the current guy. I know the name Poroshenko because he also is like a chocolate man. He was the chocolate man, and he sells chocolate. He owns a big Ukrainian chocolate thing here, like a Gordova or whatever the fuck. I don't know the current guy. Zelensky. I live here. Don't know. Doesn't matter. I don't think people here know who the fucking president is. Nobody gives a shit. Nothing ever happens. Even when it's happening, nothing's ever happening. Trump has been too good to the nation of Israel to be impeached. He's not Tricky Dick Nixon. He didn't say a bunch of bad things about Jews behind the counter. He is 100% for the nation of Israel, and as a result, he is untouchable in the public arena, and everyone knows it. Even the people going for, like, Stephen Lynch is not wrong. They're not. He knows there's no point, but they got to do it because somebody wants to. And I don't even think Trump is like ironic. People always thought, oh, it's 4D chess. Trump doesn't care about Israel. He doesn't care about Jews. But you have to realize Trump has 9 grandchildren. Two of his kids are converted. I think it's only Trump Jr. who is not converted to Judaism. And of his 9 grandchildren, only one is not Jewish. So you look at this from a perspective of lineage. You are Donald Trump. You are the president of the United States of America. And you have 9 grandchildren, of whom almost all of them are Jews, and who will have Aliyah and will have a right to return to Israel. What do? You can try your hardest. You can try and fight every single day to make America 1% better than it would be if you weren't in office. You will have to fight everyone in politics every day. You'll be called a racist, a pedophile, a rapist, every horrible name in the book. Your businesses will be attacked. Your family will be torn apart. You'll never live it down. And it will cost billions of dollars for no result. Or you can send money to Israel. Nobody will question it. It'll go through both houses, both the House and the Senate. No questions asked. Nobody will say anything bad about you. Nobody will protest it. You'll get a good feel good from it. And your kids will have a home there. They will be able to go to Israel. They'll have cities named after them. The fucking settlements are getting named after Trump now. And for 1% of the effort and 5 times the reward, you can sell out and ensure a throne for your great-great-grandchildren at the seat of the world. Or you can go against the grain and you can do all this shit, and your name will be as synonymous with misfortune as Kennedy is. Nobody, not one of you listening to this would do that. Not one of you would not take the easy way out. And that's why Donald Trump will be president of the United States in 2020, because everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. And there's no fixing it. Nobody has any inclination to fix it. Except my man Alex Jones fights back. Sues Young Turks for libel. I'm just going to go right to the meat of this because it's the best shit I've ever seen. Alex Jones versus Brianna Wu, Andrew Kimmel, and the Young Turks LLC. Speaking of my man Brianna Wu, appears to be on the defending side of a libel lawsuit from Alex motherfucking Jones, God's gift to the United States of America. Yes, really. This is on the InfoWars website. This is not some gossip shit. Alex Jones has already filed his lawsuit against Brianna Wu, Andrew Kimmel, and the Young Turks. Why, you may ask? Why has Alex Jones done this? As we all know, being the plaintiff in a lawsuit is never, ever the favorable end. People don't like litigious people. The answer is, when Alex Jones was going through his Sandy Hook libel suit as a defendant, people sent him child pornography. And this was uncovered by the plaintiff's counsel during this lawsuit. And it was noted that child pornography had been found on Alex Jones's email servers, sent to him, and were sent to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and the FBI, as it should be. Now, even though the plaintiff's counsel and Jones's counsel obviously contested that this was information sent to them that was hostile activity against them, multiple people on the opposing side reared up and said that Alex Jones had child pornography, which is a gross twisting of reality, blatantly untrue, a deliberate act to smear Alex Jones as a pedophile and a criminal, because having child pornography is inherently criminal. And it just was completely false. Criminals sent him contraband that ended up on his desk, and they tried to hold him personally accountable for it in an act of what I would consider terrorism. Because I've had people like Vordrak who will do criminal shit like that, try and fucking plant shit on you, and then claim that you were a part of it. And I know exactly how these fucking people operate, and Brianna Wu, Andrew Kimmel, and the Young Turks are useful idiots who took the story and ran with it as if it were true. And now they are being sued. So on one hand, whenever it's an uphill battle, right? When you sue somebody, you are automatically the bad guy. And proving yourself even in the court of public opinion is extremely difficult as a plaintiff. It's like with Vic Mignogna. Vic Mignogna is a litigious person now. He's sued people. So proving to people that not only is he a good person, but he's a victim who needed, compensation for how he was victimized, is very difficult. So people are going to look at this like it's a joke, but on the other hand, I mean, it doesn't get much worse than calling someone a pedophile. My thing with the word pedophile, and people throw it around a lot on the Kiwi farms, and it makes me upset. I don't like it. Pedophile shit is not fun. If somebody's a pedophile, it's not even fun to make fun of them. Like, there's a lot of shit that I could say about somebody like Nick Stoutenberger, who was Nick Bate, the guy who basically said that he raped his cousin and got away with it for 6 years before a prosecuting attorney was told by the victim that it was actually true. And they basically had to use archives of shit that was on Encyclopedia Dramatica and the Kiwi Farms to prosecute him and use his own words against him to secure a conviction of 25 years for like aggravated child rape or something. And Nick is a really gross person, and he's done a lot of really gross shit that's kind of funny and worth making fun of. Like, his defense against being a child rapist was that he didn't make her play with his shit, and because he was a scatological person, he would have made her play with his shit. Was probably the worst defense against such an accusation in the history of the entire world, and it didn't hold up. But you can't, like, even though that's pretty funny, that's like ridiculous, that's shockingly fucking retarded, it's not fun to like talk about, because it's child rape. Even though if that defense were anything else, like if he was being accused of grand theft, like, sorry, there's no way I stole that car because I played with my own shit and there was no shitty fingerprints all over the car, so it couldn't have been me. That would have been a hysterical defense that everyone in the entire planet would know. They would know about the poo-poo defense. But in this case, it's not funny. So my thing with pedophiles is, if you want to call someone a pedophile, and I think all pedophiles should die, I will only call someone that if I think I could kill them and sleep at night. Would I kill Nick Stoutenberger? If I was like the executioner, I could do it. Easy, no problem. Would sleep fine. And I think everyone should live by that practice. Don't call someone a pedophile unless you would personally kill them. That's how I see it. So with all these opportunistic fucking cockroaches I feel very little empathy for them. Corpophilia. That's right. That's the word for it. Yes. That's basically what I said. The article's his motivation for it. Now, on the flip side, I don't want to talk too much about this because it just happened. Like this was published 30 minutes before I started talking. I had to dig through it and figure out what it was on very short notice. On the flip side of this is Scott Adams, notorious man of persuasion, responded to this tweet by John Cook. I don't know anything about John Cook, but he said, quote, "It is extremely wild to see the Louis Farrakhan policer teaming up with Scott Adams, who is basically the Louis Farrakhan of incel white nationalists. But hey, it's for the troops." Now, Louis Farrakhan, if you don't know, is the evangelist. That's right. He's the evangelist for the Nation of Islam, which is a black. It's not proper Islam. It's like black Mormonism for Islam. It's a very strange sect, and it has a hereditary hierarchy where Louis Farrakhan is the minister, son of the founder of the church or the mosque. I don't know what the fuck to call it, but he's basically a black nationalist, a black. He's. Let me find a clip. Actually, I bet you I'm not. It was on Twitter and they banned his fucking Twitter. There was a quote where he was talking about Nixon, and the quotes I just mentioned, ironically enough, about Nixon talking about the Jews and how you can't say bad things about the Jews. And Louis Farrakhan's like, how is President Nixon afraid to talk about the Jews when Louis Farrakhan is good to talk about them all day? How small is the president balls when Louis Farrakhan got these watermelons hanging? I fucking love that shit. Because number one, he compares his balls to watermelons, and that's racially poignant. The other point is he's calling out white people for being pussies, and I thought that was funny too. But obviously, when they swept up a bunch of conservative people a while back, and they threw in Louis Farrakhan, like, oh, see, we're not just banning white conservatives, dummy. We're also banning black Marxists like Louis Farrakhan. The only common theme between all of them is that they're all anti-Semites, but who gives a shit? So Louis Farrakhan got unpersoned, basically. Snoop Dogg, or Snoop Lion, whatever the fuck his name is, came out against it. Nobody gave a shit. But basically, Louis Farrakhan's not well received in public because he's an anti-Semite and he's a crazy person. But this guy, John Cook, said to Scott Adams that he is the Louis Farrakhan of incel white nationalists. And Scott Adams replied to this provoking tweet and said, "No wonder your piece of shit Gawker publication got its balls cut off. My lawyers will be contacting you." And that is preposterous. There is nothing that John Cook said about Scott Adams that's defamatory. Now, I'll go this far, right? What is Louis Farrakhan? He's an evangelist, right? And this guy is saying that Scott Adams is the incel white national, or the Louis Farrakhan of incel white nationalists. Now, I have been called by my opponents a incel white nationalist, and I do see Scott Adams as an evangelist for my cause. So if John Cook does get sued by Scott Adams and would like to subpoena from me testimony advocating that I do in fact see Scott Adams as a Louis Farrakhan of my incel white nationalist cause, I will happily sequester such testimony unto him. He just has to ask. Just a thought, Mr. John J. Cook. My offer is indeed valid, and I will indeed fucking go to the embassy, the U.S. Embassy, and have them sign and notarize a sworn statement from me that Scott Adams is in fact the Louis Farrakhan of my incel white nationalism. Because really, fuck Scott Adams. And to back up my claim, I posted screen caps of my Kindle, and I have 2 of his books bought way, way, way before any of this shit. So I've read his stuff. I've followed Scott Adams since the middle of 2016. I'm unironically someone who imbibes, partakes of Scott Adams talks and shit. So I am completely and totally justified in making that claim. I do read. I read his book. I forgot the name of it. Hold up. I'll bring it up real quick. What's the name of this? Oh, fuck. It's one I don't have a Kindle version for. It's at my house back in Pensacola. Son of a bitch. I don't know. It's the one he released in 2016 about how you have to eat veggies and shit. Whatever. That's beside the point. I'm just saying I'll do it. How to Fail at Everything and Still Win Big, I think is the name of it. You're right. Yeah, whatever. It was a pretty good book. It was pretty inspiring. There was one part I still remember from that book where he's talking about how it was very poignant. It was very poignant, and I've kept it with me. He was talking about how some people realize they need to take better care of themselves, but for some reason don't feel like they're allowed to take better care of themselves unless they're given permission for whatever reason. And he has a very, very intimate line where he says something like, as the author of this book, which you are now reading, I hereby give you permission to take care of yourself. And I was like, that's pretty fucking sweet. That's a pretty poignant and sweet statement. And it was very touching. So I am unironically a fan of Scott Adams, but I think he needs to shut the fuck up, because he also threatened to sue Encyclopedia Dramatica for hosting Rule 34 of Dilbert, like years ago, like in 2012. And it's just preposterous. Don't call me gay. Fuck you. I get to have feelings. I'm a man. I am a barely stitched together like TNT bundle of feelings just brooding under the surface, okay? And sometimes I feel appreciation like this. This is a quote from Down the Rabbit Hole about Wings of Redemption.
However, while few developments were occurring post-surgery for Geordi, the community around him would begin experiencing significant upheavals, some of which were revealed publicly. In early 2019, a man named Joshua Moon, best known as Null, the owner and operator of the Kiwi Farms, hosted a stream in which he discussed the history of Geordi. The most surprising part of his stream wasn't the section about Geordi himself, but rather the troll community that had built around him.
And my rabbit hole into this world started with asking a question. Who is Lean? And the answer I got to that question was... Ha 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 ha, lol, you mad bro, ha 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 ha, mad bro, mad, piss, pisses on shithead, piss, ha ha ha, piss, piss, psis, lamau, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, lol, piss. And that, my friends, is the fucking moment I decided, holy shit, these people are fucking crazy. These people are fucking nuts. This is not just some random fucking faggot from their Discord. This is a trusted user. There's like 12 of these people. It's a Discord with like 1,000 motherfuckers, and this motherfucker is at the tippy top. He's up there in the upper echelons of the trolldom. This shit. When I was in there asking people about Lean, a couple days after I spoke to Lean, people are like, well, you know, he started to monetize his videos. I'm like, oh, is that it? And they're like, no, he makes him look positive in his videos. Well, fucking goddamn, that sounds awful. Let's look at this. Let's look at one of these DS positive videos that Lean put out on Wings of Redemption.
It's fucking stupid. Like, all their fucking effort, they still couldn't stop me from going 40 and 10. After all their fucking effort, they still couldn't do it.
And this is what pisses them off. In his videos, if Wings of Redemption gets trolled the fuck out, but still ends up 40 to 10 with a 4-to-1 KD, a very, very good score, he'll include it in his highlight clips. And that is verboten. It is not allowed. If he does well in the video game, you cut that shit out. You leave that on the clipping floor.
Soon after, he reveals that apparently, Lean claimed to a troll server that he had hired people to gather the personal information of everyone present in it. After trying...
I very much so appreciate that Frederick Knudsen, whatever the fuck his name is, opted to include the word faggot in his replay. I was not expecting that. I was like, damn, I can't believe he left that in. I should mention that when this was happening after my stream, the guy, Liquid Richard, who does the, I don't know what to call them, they're like remixes of Wings complaining with like beats and shit, and they're very good. I love his albums. He got doxxed, and his friends, I think his friends doxxed him and then said that the forum did it. So in his latest album, Carrie Diamond, he has a Kiwi Farms diss track in it. Which is pretty funny. I don't understand what he's angry about. I didn't do nothing. I'm a good boy. But I've not watched through this all the way through. It's fucking 2 hours long. It's 2 hours long. And then again, my stream on fucking Wings of Redemption was 2 hours long, and I didn't cut it down. So who knows? Was interesting. Because I know he reads the forum. I know based on the videos he does, he reads the fucking forum. I'm sure he does independent research and stuff, but he knows. He knows. He represents. Game represent game. That's how it is. He's watching this right now. Probably. I mean, he's in my time zone. This is a good stream. If you're up at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday, this is a good stream to wind it down with, ain't it? Is Lean a tranny? I don't think so. I think Lean's just a weirdo. I should stream Rainbow Six again. I haven't done that in a while. Every time I think about Wings of Redemption, I think about Rainbow Six, because I was watching his stuff when I bought the game. Like I was watching, like, damn, that looks like a really fun game. So I bought it and I played it. I'm like, this is good. This is like what's the other one by Valve? The other shoot 'em up, CS:GO. Like, this is the game that CS:GO wishes it was. Because CS:GO was just fucking awful. CS:GO is so fucking boring. And the mechanics are so straightforward. And it's like with speed running, you know? Like, speed running has one skill, and that's speed running. And with CS:GO, it's like the same fucking thing. It's knowing the map, knowing where to put your crosshairs, knowing... Like, actual aiming is irrelevant in CS:GO. It's not about aiming. It's about having your cursor where the head is going to be at in the instance that they pop up. And it's so fucking boring. But Rainbow Six is great. Rainbow Six, you send in your drones, you shock people, you put up your shield, you shock people with the shield, you ask people for their license as Clash. It's a great game. Sorry, people listening to this who are like old are not going to have a fucking clue what I'm talking about. I am interested in hearing Nick stream about the Alex Jones lawsuit, because from what I understand, there is some issues with it. Like, the counsel Alex Jones has hired against the defendants is a California law firm, and the lawsuit is taking place in Texas. And I know based on what he said about Texas that the judges there are very like nepotistic, and they pay more attention to their friends and stuff. I'm sure that's everywhere, but especially in Texas, it seems like a big deal. Read Siege, Rainbow Six Siege. I do read Siege. I play it like every day. Let's see. Is that it? Oh, I would be remiss in my duties to not play this, because it is a thing. It's already been covered to death. It happened really early into the week, and everyone listening to this probably already has heard this, but for the sake of posterity, for someone listening to this in 2024, I love my niggas up in 2024, but this is for you. This is a clip of... Oh, I copied it wrong. Fantastic. My fucking mouse is driving me nuts. Here we go.
make everything clear. He's my girlfriend's daughter.
So this is from the kill stream.
When I play
Still alive and
three,
kicking.
two.
Monday Matt or fuck, what's his name? Pesos. Dame Pesos is there talking to Ralph. He has a clip. What is this clip of?
One.
My daughter's still making noise. She's not feeling well. My girlfriend's daughter.
My girlfriend's daughter. It's proven.
It's really not his
My
kid.
daughter's still
Who the
making
fuck
noise.
would
She's not feeling well. My girlfriend's daughter.
He got distracted and fucked it up. Oh, I don't think it was clear enough. I should play it again. Maybe. I think I should.
I think so.
My daughter's still making noise. She's not feeling well. My girlfriend's daughter.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Oh, that's gonna hurt. It's poor mundane Matt. I don't know why he doesn't just leave. Why not give up? He does Uber Eats. Like, if there ever comes a day where I have to like do Uber Eats to support myself, I'm not gonna host the forum. I'm not gonna stack boxes in a fucking CVS and do Uber Eats to enable a fucking website of 10,000 people like to post. That's retarded. Like, just give up. And he doesn't have any friends, so he talks to people. He talks to people to get stuff off his chest, which I mean everyone does. Everyone has people they confide in. But then all those people fucking hate him, and they make fun of him, and they leak the audio of him talking about his stepdaughter. And the really sad thing about the stepdaughter is that she was with him before she got pregnant. So she got impregnated by somebody else and brought into a relationship that already existed a stepdaughter, which I find revolting physically and mentally. It's a preposterous situation that no self-respecting individual would ever sit through. I remember people always make fun of stepfathers now. Like, being a stepfather is a really bad thing. Like, nobody I feel bad for single mothers these days, because they're never ever going to find a man who is willing to be a stepfather. Like, the stigma is worse than it's ever been. Like, the stigma around being a stepfather is probably the worst that it's ever been in like 200 years. So unless it's like a Brady, I already say this, unless it's like a Brady Bunch situation where you both have kids for whatever reason, and you can put them together in one household, like, it's going to be a mess. The kids are going to hate each other, and they're not going to respect the other parent. It's going to be a nightmare. But you got to make do with what you got, I guess. Because at least in that point, you're both operating at a loss, I guess. But I remember I was talking about this, and Zed, I don't know why. I pay special attention to what Zed says on the forum, just because. And he's very passive aggressive, and he is very contrarian. And he said something to the effect of, "There's nothing worse than being a stepfather." And that was the first time I ever heard someone substitute the word cuck in this context with the word stepfather. And it was very striking to me, because I remember it's like a when you think about when you were more liberal and younger, it's like looking into like a past life or something, where it's like, yeah, you look at stepfathers and you think, what a nice guy, he's taking care of a kid that's not his. It's good for. I mean, that's really generous of him. He's doing a lot. He's spending a lot of his own personal money and time into making a relationship work, even though there's another child in it. And that was basically the perspective I think most people had on stepfathers until 2016, where the word cuck reared up from the fucking swamps of the internet and poisoned every discussion about everything ever. And now there is no stepfather. It's just a cuck. If you're raising another kid, you're a cuck. And it's like, I don't know. Is that fair? I think it's fair. Like, I've thought about it long and hard, but I think it's fair. If you raise another man's child, you're a cuck. And you shouldn't feel good about it. You're not a good person for doing it. You're just pathetic. And I've tried to be nice about it and try to think, maybe there is reasons for it, but no, it's, unless you're the Brady Bunch, you're a cuck. That's the rules. That's the breaks. And I tried, giving myself, like, critically analyzing my own opinions on this and thinking, like, is there a situation where The answer is no. The answer is no. No fucking way. Not a chance. No, I would rather be dead than raise another man's child as my own. Rather be dead. No way about it. I'm sorry. There's something I was going to say in addition to this. I was making fun of Monday Matt, making fun of stepfathers, using the word cuck a lot. Whatever the idea was, I lost it. What a shame. So yeah, well, that's what I said. It's the Brady Bunch. It's either Brady Bunch or cock. That's the rules. What if you're plowing the teenage daughter of your wife? Hey, don't even joke about that, because that's a thing. Like, oh man, I don't want to talk about pedophiles twice in a single stream, but that happens. Like a lot. Like that happens a shockingly amount. Like if you are a single mother and you're looking at a prospective stepfather for your child, be careful. Be real fucking careful, because there are people out there who try to find those kinds of relationships because they're predators. Which I guess it complicates shit even more. Either you're a total, like, because now you look at it and it's like, okay, you're either pathetic, you're either the Brady Bunch, or you're a pedophile. There's not many nice guys left in the world, I guess. The plot of Lolita. I'm very pleased to say I've never read Lolita. It's probably over 1,200 pages anyway, so whatever. Alex Jones, Brandon Wu, Frederick Knudsen, Scott Adams, Thunberg, Google. Yep. I am going to say that is a wrap. Is there anything else you guys can think of before I sign off? Where's the fat woman? I'm putting a moratorium on all fat people because I can't take the fucking feeder jokes. I'm about to jump out a window. If you enjoyed the fat people segments, it's your own fault. You have only yourself to blame for the moratorium. What's this? This better be good. Okay. This came 6 minutes after I started my stream. Just in, Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Guys, can we just put a round of applause together for Greta Thunberg, the Nobel Prize nominee for for her activism. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Can't take it anymore, guys. I hate it all. Here, you know what? I got some vodka. I got some good, cheap vodka. If you are a vodka man, come to the Ukraine, because the Ukraine has vodka on the cheap. The best vodka you've ever had for $3. And with that, I think I'm done for today. But next week is exciting, because next week is the first week of October. And as everyone knows, I fucking love Halloween. I am a Halloween man. I love the spookies. I like the pumpkins. I like the fall. I like it when the weather is starting to cool off and the trees are starting to shed their leaves and everything turns orange and brown. That's my month, my man. That is my month. So, you're gonna go burn down a rainforest? That's what Brazil was smart. Brazil burned down all its rainforest, so now they're fucking spared from the Greta menace. I'm doing a merchandise run for the Kiwi Farms. I will not be selling any hats, but I will be selling t-shirts that have cute Kiwi stuff and pumpkin stuff on it. So if you're interested in that, check that out when it happens. And here is the Mad at the Internet link, madattheinternet.com. If you want to give me money, because I like money. All right, I will catch you all next week. Thank you for watching. Where's my fucking outro song? Oh, it's in this folder. Okay. See you next time.
Big Ups Liquid Richard.
Pick up the new album, Carrie Diamond.
Come on. This is with the BBC. Dumbass scrub. What the fuck? Peanut butter complexion stallion. This dude's doing straight.
Big old country boy.
I'll be that monkey.
How are you, fat man in my phone? You play Rainbow Six Siege all day when I'm home. All day when I'm home. Every time when you are, 'cause you shine so bright. You look like the sun, even in the middle of the night.
This is America. Money is to be made and spent. Bend me over, and stroke my BBC. Play the fucking set. Get that ass bang. Visualize me in a bed, nigga. Visualize me in a bed. Mouth wide open and cheeks spread. Spread his cheeks. I'm a working motherfucker. I represent new age blacks. Can't believe that you just asked.
Music go. God, this fucking God damn it, motherfucker. This is the problem with the fucking 2-click mouse. I'm trying to close out of shit. I'm retiring my fucking stream and shit, and then the fucking music drops because it clicks twice and it exits out of 2 things at once. Do you fucking know how frustrating that is? I don't even know where the fucking folder is. Did I put it on my desktop? Oh, fuck me. I was enjoying it too. I was personally enjoying that fucking music.
Big Ups.
You look like the sun, even in the middle of the night.
This is America. Money is to be made and spent. Bend me over, and stroke my BBC. Play the fucking set. Get that ass bang. Visualize me in a bed, nigga. Visualize me in a bed. Mouth wide open and cheeks spread. Spread his cheeks. I'm a working motherfucker. I represent new age blacks. Can't believe that you just asked. Please go jack off.
How are you, fat man in my phone? You play Rainbow Six Siege all day when I'm home. All day when I'm home. All day when I'm home. Every time when you are, 'cause you shine so bright. You look like the sun, even in the middle of the night. My mod should be doing this. I gotta play all day slay. All day slay. Fireman Candor, can you please do the band? Shout out to Big Cheese. Kiwi Farms. Jokes on men. I'm going back for Brandy. Got black, Kenny, Bacon, Prozac. Kenny, Bacon, Prozac. Black people, black, Brandy. Black people, black, Brandy. I'm going back. Don't criticize what I'm doing on the screen. Food, that's just more gas tank for the love machine. For the love machine. How are you, fat man in my phone? You play Rainbow Six Siege all day when I'm home. All day when I'm home. Every time when you are, 'cause you shine so bright. You look like the sun, even in the middle of the night. Time when you are.
Carrie Diamond. Real talk.
You look like the sun.
New album in May. Shout out Sean Franklin.
I know there's gonna be a lot of people out there calling me a bully. Well, guess what? I'm not. I just don't feel sorry for fat fucking people, especially fat fucks who sit there all day, gorge and eat, and make money for doing absolutely nothing, while a bunch of sorry fucks like yourself play into it. You don't like what the fuck I'm saying? Then fuck you.
That's right.